Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Airbrushing Accessories. I've got a few accessories on the table I want to take you through today, and all these pieces will help you in the long run when you're a beginner starting out on your airbrush journey. Now, you've got your airbrush, you've brought your first airbrush and you get it out of the box and it looks like that. Say, you could have one with a cup on or a side feed, but then you look at the bottom and think, now how do I attach that to my compressor? Because some brushes don't come with Airlines. Some airbrush compressors you probably won't get an Airline with it. So the first thing you're going to need to get is an Airline. Now you can get a variety of Airlines. The ones that I would recommend are braided, which I like. This, you get a connection that goes to your compressor and then you get a connection on the other end which goes to your airbrush. Now if you're looking at buying a braided air hose, I would opt for the longer one of the two. You'll probably see ones that are like a meter, and then you get ones that are like 1.8 and probably go up. Go for the bigger Airline, guys, because if you're airbrushing in your house and you're in a room, you'll be working off of a table like this, and your compressor will be under the table. Now the minimal height of a table is like a meter from the ground up. So you can have your air compressor tucked underneath your table. You've lost a meter of Airline just coming from the floor up to like here, and you need to get round the piece that you're working. So a longer Airline is better, guys. I always opt for 1.8, 2 meter above in the studio, because then I can cover all the area where I'm working. So that's a braided Airline. They do like the rubber Airlines as well. You can get the retractable ones which look like coils that stretch out. You can get them ones, but I'd say braided is the best. I've used braided throughout my career and they've worked brilliantly. I've got a black braided one that's in the studio now. This is really long and I can get all around the studio with this. So you've got your Airline. Now you want to connect it to your brush. So you've got this end here that comes in on the Airline. Now that will go straight to your brush, not a problem at all. You can screw it to your brush like that and you're away, you're airbrushing. That works, but it can be very fiddly. Now when you're coming to clean your brush, the first thing that you want to do is unscrew this, take your brush off, and then you're cleaning your brush. Now if your compressor's on and full of air, you've got air spewing out of this because that's an open valve, and it's like, what do I do? You're kinking the hose, you're going under your table, you're turning your compressor off, you're trying to empty the tank. Easy solution to this, you can get these on this site, and these are the best things that you can buy for your airbrush, is the quick connects. They really are. You get the one that clips, that screws to the bottom of your brush. So you get this one here that screws straight on, like that. So that goes to your bottom of your brush like that. And then that end that you just had screwed to your brush, that's leaking out air, you put on one of these, screw that on there like that. And when you turn your compressor on, this is a quick release valve, so you get no air coming out. You clip that in and then your air is good to go out the front of your brush. Now the bonus with this one, you can see that little dial on the side, that's a little air regulator. So I'd recommend going for the one with the regulator here. If you've not got a Mac valve on your brush and your brush is like this, you can dial your air in here, and this will save you fumbling around under your table or wherever you put your compressor to try and dial your air in when you're painting. So a quick connect, big thumbs up, and the adapter that the quick connect like clips into with a regulator here is a big thumbs up. They're not expensive, guys. It's coming up to Christmas. You've probably got your family members going, what do you want for Christmas? I know you've started up airbrushing. Is there any bits you need? These are the sort of bits that will help you out in the long run. So you've got the quick connect that goes to your brush, and then a regulator that goes to your Airline, a nice long braided air hose will help you out along the way. Now, another good thing to have linked up if you're starting out, if you've got a small compressor, one of the little silent ones, when you're airbrushing, if you've started airbrushing and you're painting for a long time, you'll hear your compressor kicking in, kicking out, kicking. It's permanent. It's like it's permanently running. Now, with that compressor running and running and running, then little compressors get hot. And if you run them too long a time, they get really hot, and that's creating a lot of moisture in that little tank, because they're only tiny little tanks. So they get really hot, they create moisture, and that moisture is in that air, and it's got to come out and it's got to go up your airline. Now, that's a big no-no when you're a painter, especially if you're using big spray guns, and if you've got moisture coming out with your air, you're spraying that water moisture onto your panel, and it goes across the line for airbrushing as well. It will come up your line. Now, on your compressor, you'll have an air regulator, a little one, little water trap, and you've got a dial on the top that you can dial your air in on the top of your compressor that would come up your brush. So once you set your air pressure on your compressor to say 25 psi, you've got 25 psi coming up your line. Now you're good to go, because you've brought this and it connects to your brush, so you can dial your air in here, so you're not fumbling around under your table or leaning across trying to dial your compressor in. You can dial it in here. You've got a water trap that comes out of the compressor, which this would go to. So that's your first line of defense to stop any moisture, dirt out of that tank coming up the airline. The next good thing to buy is one of these. Now, these are a little moisture trap that goes to the bottom of your brush. So to attach this on your brush, take your quick connect off like that. So that's how you've got your brush out of the box. Get your water trap, screw that to the bottom of your brush like that. You can put a bit of PTFE tape around here if you want to get a better seal. Just wrap it around the thread, screw that in. Then get your little quick connect piece, screw that piece to the bottom of your water trap, and you are good to go. You can clip that back into the bottom like that. Now, that's a great bit of kit that stops that last little bit of moisture. If there is any coming up your airline, this one will stop it. You've got a little like purge type valve here, so you can just press this, and if there's any moisture in here, you can just press that and it will blast it out. Beauty of these are, it gives you something to hold on to when you're painting, and it's nice to have that extra little bit here where you can wrap your fingers on there. It just feels a lot more sturdy. It sturdies your hand with your brush, so it's like a win-win. It's stopping the moisture, and it's a little handle as you're holding your brush. So not expensive. These three little pieces here, get your airline, and get these little three pieces here. They will help you out in the long run. So that's your airline and your connections sort of sorted. The next little bit I want to talk to you about is cleaning pots. Now, if you're painting, most people when they start out, they're painting in the house, and they're painting in either the box room, a spare room. Some people are like me, where you're painting it out in the garden in a studio or a shed, converted shed. Studios outside. So usually you're in a small environment. Now, when you're airbrushing, you're atomizing paint. You don't see it. All you see is you're staring at your piece of paper and you're looking at what you're painting. You don't see all that mist that's coming out, that's going into your room. So extraction is key, guys, to get an extractor. But cleaning pots. Now, when you're a beginner, you tend to blast through loads of paint. You're changing colours because you want to try all your variety of paints that you've just brought, and you get a lot of excess paint in your cups. Now, some people just tip it away, blast it like that to clean it through, put water in, blast it. I tend to do that on my videos, but I have the extractor going when I'm on time lapses painting, and I'm blasting sort of that way, and it's going straight out into the extraction. 'Now, these are great because, when you're a beginner, you tend to blast through loads of paint. You're changing colours because you want to try all your variety of paints that you've just brought, and you get a lot of excess paint in your cups. Now, some people just tip it away, blast it like that to clean it through, put water in, blast it. I tend to do that on my videos, but I have the extractor going when I'm on time lapses painting, and I'm blasting sort of that way, and it's going straight out into the extraction. Now, these are great because when you come to clean and change your paints, you can place the airbrush into the holder like that, and that's got a little rubber seal around it, so that makes a connection with the front of your brush. You press down on your trigger, pull back, and any excess paint will go into this pot. On the top of the pot here, you've got a little like perforated holes. They come off and you get a little gauze there, which is like a filter. So because you're pumping air in, that air's got to come out of that pot. It gets filtered out, that little bit of filter there, and your paint gets left in the pot. So it's clean. It keeps a lot of the overspray when you're cleaning in your pot there. You're getting a bit of clean air coming out and you're not getting paint coming out. So it's a little cleaning process, a little cleaning pot that works. You get a little airbrush holder on the side of it. So if you've not got an airbrush hanger like this that clamps to your table, you've got one on your pot. And these are sturdy as well, so you can just put your airbrush in like that. You know it's not going to tip over or go anywhere. At the end of your airbrush, like little lesson, you just unscrew these pots and you can wash these out because they're glass. Clean them out, screw that back on, and you're good to go for your next little airbrush lesson. So there's some little pieces there that will help you out, guys. These bits and things are on the website. They're not expensive. I know it's an expensive hobby to get into once you've brought your brush, your compressor, your paints, but once you're set up and you're good to go and you've got the right bits on a setup, this will help you out. Connections definitely, air trap definitely if you are running a small compressor, because them little compressors get very hot, they really do, and it is key. I would airbrush for, with a little compressor, silent one, I would tend to airbrush for an hour, walk away, and then come back when your compressors cool down slightly. So just be careful with your little compressors. If you've got them under a table, give them plenty of ventilation. Don't put them in a closed corner or pack them away in a cupboard. Make sure you've got plenty of airflow around them so they can keep it sort of like a set temperature in your room. You don't want to put them tucked away as they just get too hot. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped you out. Check the website out. There's loads of little good bits. These bits that I've gone through today are all on there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.